Stakeholders from within PNG and Australia gathered for a 3-day forum to discuss matters related to business. Attended by major players of various industries, the gathering looked at finding solutions and suggestions on how best they can satisfy business needs on bilateral levels. The governor of the Bank of PNG, Loy Bakani, says the economic environment is right for investment.
In Papua New Guinea, or for that matter any country at all, to co-invest is the risk. The risk in Papua New Guinea for investments is very low. In terms of political risk, we've never had any, used to be high before because of frequent changes of government and all that. The political risk in Papua New Guinea is very low now. You have some of these big corporates like Allsearch and the likes, they're going overseas to get overseas loans. They get them at a very low rate because previously used to be a lot of these lenders, they attach a lot of risk, high risk on Papua New Guinea. But now it's very much low, so it's reflected in the interest rates that they are charging on those loans. The other thing is in relation to stability in government policies and all that, that the frequent changes does not make it conducive for foreign investors to invest in Papua New Guinea. So where you have a stability in policies and less changes in government heads and all that, and this is what you can see from the current government. Over the last 5 years, they've been operating very little change. And this is what is all adding up to the stability in both the government political risk and also the management of the economy. The other thing that they look at is in terms of real return, it's all going to adding up to real return, political risk, the inflation, if the inflation is low and stable, if the exchange rate is low and stable, those are kind of things that foreign investors look at. So if you look at the fundamental of the economy is very good now, for always better than before the last 5 years. It is now up to the investors in what particular sector they want to go into. And this is always a very important consideration for foreign investors. They want to go into agriculture. There is always a issue in agriculture. They want to go into manufacturing. They look at market conditions. They look at the customer base, whether there is a customer availability of consumers that will consume the product. And of course, they look at also overseas potential for overseas markets. So, in all, from a macro perspective, the economy that we have, the Papua New Guinea economy is very conducive now. It's very much right for foreign investors to come into Papua New Guinea.
The country's economy has been hit hard in recent years by external commodity prices. This has forced the country to cut back in most of its spending on key priority areas. However, BPNG Governor Bakani says it's manageable.
It's not only the current situation, it's also what comes in the future. That's what foreign investors also think about, because you look at Papua New Guinea, the medium term is very, very positive, because of the pipeline projects we have, the new, the stable ideology of government, that in the few years to come, there'll be a lot of projects, there'll be a lot of income earning opportunities for Papua New Guineans, and that will, whether it be a retail business or whatever, you will still make money, a lot of money in Papua New Guinea.
Similar sentiments were shared by visiting Australian Minister for International Development and the Pacific, Concetta Fierravanti Wells, during her keynote address in the forum.
Globalisation has provided enormous benefits and lifted millions of people out of poverty. It also, though, leaves us vulnerable to international shocks. And one of our best defences against these shocks is diversification of our economies.
The 3-day forum has attracted companies from both PNG and Australia. Outside the meeting, booths have been set up for the displays of goods and services. One of the businesses on show is the coffee business. One key agenda also discussed is the APEC Leaders Summit next year. The update on security matters were highlighted.
The crux of implementing a safe and secure environment is liaison and the dissemination of information and participation by all stakeholders. So that is exactly what we will effect. And we will start the public awareness process shortly, and certainly it will build as the meetings, as the time for the meetings come closer. And in the preparation for the leaders' meeting in November next year, there will be detailed and extensive consultation and dissemination of information. Now, in terms of what type of posture and what type of effect it will have, our security posture directed to us by government is one of a friendly Pacific flavor. So in that regard, the overt posture will be friendly, and the high-end response capability will be discreet. If you cast your mind back to the G20 held in Brisbane in 2015 and the security arrangements around that, that is a similar type of security design, safety and security design that we are preparing for APEC here in Papua New Guinea. For the 12-month bubble, it'll be far less restrictive, but certainly for the leaders' meeting in November next year, based on the requirements by the partner economy leaders, their security requirements, there will be a few restrictions, and these will be consulted and disseminated accordingly in due course. Thank you.
The 3-day forum ends today.